everybody, it's Kathy Champion from Random Acts of Crafting, and welcome back to my craft room. We are going to be very adventurous today, and instead of doing something so trimmed out and perfect, I decided that I wanted to bring you a Shabby Chic card. Now, I am going to start out with nothing more than a piece of pink cardstock and a piece of craft colored cardstock. So the first thing I want to do is this is actually going to be the mat on the front of a 6x6 card. So a 6x6 card, we need to start out with a 5 3/4 by 5 3/4. So I am going to cut this piece down to 5 3/4 by 5 3/4. So this is going to be our little beginning piece. And I'm going to try to streamline this and make it a quick video, but yet still give you the details you need in order to make this card work. Now, I have a distressed ink. This is not the distress oxides. This is just the distressed in a tattered rose. And I am going to use that tattered rose to edge. Maybe if I put that down, I can get my ink open. Just to kind of distress around the edges of this. And this is kind of a light shade of pink. Oh, I'm sorry. A light shade of pink. So I'm going to load this up pretty good because all I want to do is just get the edge. And if you notice, I'm going to hold the cardstock and I am just going to kind of beat this around the edge of the card just a little bit because I don't want to cover it. I just want just around that edge like so. So, and I think you're going to like what I'm going to do with my other piece to get it like we want it. So again, I'm just doing that like that, and I find that that technique gives me that edging without going up onto the card. So I'll just hold it very sturdy like so, and I keep loading my little pad up because, like I said, this is a very faint ink. And I thought this pink just looked really good on this piece of cardstock. So, and who would have thought to use pink on a craft colored cardstock? But I thought it looked really good. And the fact that I'm going to use a piece of pink paper over this. And we're going to have fun because I plan on tearing this tearing the paper and distressing it up a little bit, and we are just going to have fun with it. So, alright, I think that we got that pretty good. So now I am going to pull this little piece of paper over, and what I want to do is I want to kind of draw around the edges, and what I think I'm going to do is I am going to find something that will give me just a bit of a circle, maybe something like my little squeaky clean bottle, anything that you can set on the corner, and I'm going to take a pencil and I am just going to round that off like so. And you could do this with a corner rounder, but I don't want it to be perfect. I want it to have that shabby chic feel to it. And so we're going to decorate this, but we want it to look old and vintage. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a pair of scissors. And I think for this we can just use our little cutter bees. And I'm just going to trim this off, and I'm going to trim it inside of that line. And again, I don't want it to be perfect. I want it to be kind of willy-nilly. I want it to look kind of torn and jagged. And we're going to do some other stuff to this that's going to jag it up even more. So let me get rid of my trash as I go. And I think what we're going to do also is we're going to maybe tear this a little bit. Tear some corners off of it, you know, just kind of mess it up. We might even just use some of these and stick them down. I do have another piece over here that I had torn earlier, and I'm trying to debate, do I want to use this one or that one? You know what, I'm going to save this piece. I haven't inked it or anything, and I'm going to use that for another card, and I think I'm going to go with this one. Basically, I just tore it around the edge, and I used this little tool. This is put out by Tim Holtz, and it's a distresser, and I will show you what it does on this piece right here. You put your paper into the corner of it, and you just rub it, and look at that. And that's how I got this distressed edge around this paper. So if you want to rough up some paper, this is a really easy way to do it. It's a very inexpensive little tool, but it's nice to have in your stash so that if you want to do something like this, you can. Now I've got fibers of papers all over everything, but that's okay because we're having fun, we're crafting. So what I want to do now is I'm going to pull out my vintage photo. I thought it would be fun to edge the pink in the brown ink. So this is my distress or my vintage photo, and I got something sticky on that. And I'm going to just go ahead and use the same one because it doesn't matter. And I'm going to ink this up pretty good, and then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to hold it, and I'm going to ink this edge just like so. Now this is going to take the ink a little better because this is a darker color for one thing, and we are just going to get that inked up all the way around, and we're going to lay that down. So I'm just going to leave these two inks here in case we need them again. Get my little tool doesn't want to set up, and I don't want to get ink on my desk, so let's see if we can lay it over here like so. Okay, I am going to tap off that excess, and I am going to pick this up. Now the items that I picked out for this card, I have a little piece of lace edging. I pulled out some flowers out of my stash of flowers, and I pulled these from different packs. This little butterfly on a stick with some flowers came out of one pack. This flower and these little sucklings, I guess you could call them. This came out of another pack, and this came out of a pack, and I believe this came out of the pack with that. I think that's the way it was. I kind of pulled them out and wasn't really paying attention, but I thought these were so pretty, and I thought they would look so cute on a card like this. So what you want to do at this point, and there is no right or wrong way to do this, you just want to get these flowers up onto your card. And I did pull this piece apart a little bit because I wanted some definition between those, and I wanted to have room to put this all down on here. So but what I'm doing right now is I'm just kind of setting it up how I think I might want that, and I think that looks so cute like that. And we're going to go back and actually glue that down. But then I was trying to decide whether I wanted my lace to go around, or do I want to make a little bouquet of lace. And I really thought this was cute like this, and all I'm doing is gathering it up, and I'm going to just make a real frilly little lace piece to stick on the front of the card. And I want that little piece to kind of stick off. What do y'all think about that? What I thought about doing once I get this together where I want it, I thought about maybe using my stapler, because of course you know I'm going to put something over it, and I thought the stapler would hold this together. So you know, sometimes you just got to use what you got. And let's see if that's, nope, that didn't want to hold, so that didn't work. Okay, let's try it again. I don't even think it let out a staple. So let's try this again. We're going to turn that piece up like that, like so, and then maybe up like this. And let's see if we can get that to staple this time. Oh yeah, that's cute like that. Now if I can get that to staple, and I don't even know if this will work because I have not tried this before, but we are going to hope for the best. And that did work. Yay! So again, you know, this is crafting. It's trial and error. I'd see what works for you. And we could put this down right here in this corner. I think that would be lovely and have the flowers on top of it. And I want to leave a space for a sentiment. So I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to lift these flowers up, and I am going to get some glue and some dimensionals and maybe even some of my Scotch tape. I'm going to try to use, I'm hoping I won't have to pull out my hot glue gun, but we may need the hot glue gun. So I also have this lace right here that I had pulled out, and I thought, how pretty would that be at the top or the bottom? So I'll tell you what, let's wait on that, and let's get this all stuck down first and see where we're at. So I'm just going to rake this off like so, because what I want to do is I want to try to get that back on there as close to the way I had it. And I'm trying to find my art glitter glue, and what did I do with, oh, I moved my desk around this morning when I cleaned it up, and of course I was looking in the wrong place for my art glitter glue, and I'm sure that happens to y'all as well. So I think what I'm going to do first is I'm going to put these down like so. And I think for this I am going to use some sticky tape. And the reason I'm going to use sticky tape is I want to have a piece of sticky tape right here that I can actually let this live in. And let's rub this down. And I did use the wider. This is I think this is 5/8. It might even be wider than that. But we're just going to pull that up, and I'm going to lay this into the glue. And I do want to pull this apart just a hair. This is what's nice about these little flowers. You can, and see, that is holding rather well. I like that. And now we are going to put down a little bit of art glitter glue and see if we can get this leaf about there. I think that would look pretty. And we're just going to put a line of art glitter glue, and let's stick this down into the glue. And then I want this flower to go about here. And I think I'm going to pop that up on a little piece of dimensional tape, and I have some already cut, so I'm going to take a piece of that and just stick it right on the bottom of that flower. You know what else I think I'm going to do? If this hasn't stuck to it, it hasn't. I'm going to actually put some art glitter glue down to give that just a little extra adhesion, because I want this card to hold together whether I decide to mail it. Sorry about that, my battery died, but I caught it right away so you didn't miss anything. I had just put my art glitter glue onto this flower, and then I stuck down the piece of Scotch two-sided tape, because we want to have a little bit of dimension on this. So I am going to stick that down right there because I want it to cover the ends of these little succulents and what have you. And then we are going to put this flower maybe right here, and let's pull this over like so, and we'll set that flower right there. And again, I am going to use a little piece of double-sided tape, and I'm just going to tear off a tiny piece for this because I want it to live just up underneath there, because I want that piece to kind of catch this little piece of wire. I want it to catch into that sticky tape. This to me just helps hold it in place, and I'm going to use the back side of my little tool to stick that down with. There we go. And now we are going to stick this flower right in the midst of that. I think I am going to put a little bit of art glitter glue on top of it, or under it. I should say under it. And there is our little flower. Now we are going to take this lace bouquet, and that's what I'm going to call it, a lace bouquet. And I am Let's see if we want it to go under here. I think it's cute right there. It really shows off that little twisty thing. So I am going to find something. I'm wondering if this would do it. Oh, that would be so cute. Yeah, we can definitely hide it with the butterfly. So let's just let this come up off of it. Maybe under it, like so. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put a little art glitter glue right on top of that staple. And I've got this little dimensional piece. This was already on a little sticky dot that came off of the package. So I am going to stick that on just like so. And then I'm going to get another piece of my two-way tape because I love the way this holds everything down. And I am going to stick that right over top of this piece. Right over top of it, because that's going to help hold that down. And it's also going to give me a little extra added stickiness on the back of this, this little piece of lace and my butterfly. And I think this is coming together really cute. I like it. I love the Shabby Chic look anyway, and I think this is coming together just beautifully. Okay, let's see if that's going to adhere. We might have to put a little bit more glue on this. Looks like our material really soaked that glue up. So let's just load it up and put this right down in it. And we might have to hold that just for a sec. I do want my little butterfly wings to be somewhat up so it looks like he's in flight or getting ready to take off in flight. And there we go. Now I have a little place down here where I can do a sentiment, and I think something that says thinking of you. And I did not get out a stamp, so let's see if I can find something rather quick. About this one. This is actually a birthday stamp set, but what about May All Your Dreams Come True? I love that. I think that will fit right there on that little area. These are just such cute stamps, and it will. And we're going to stamp that actually in black. And I think that will be very, very cute right there. Let's see if we can get a small stamp block. There we go. And now I am going to put some, make sure this is sticking. I may have to go back with some hot glue on this. Yeah, I think I am, because that is not wanting to adhere. Or let's try this. Let's try another double-sided piece of tape. This may work even better. And see, that double-sided tape just, I think it works awesome. And we are going to put that right there. Bend it into that tape. And I think that's going to hold beautifully. So, my double-sided tape to the rescue. Alright, I'm going to ink the stamp up. And I know that I am probably off camera because I am trying to get this card done in record time. I'm going to lift that flower just enough to get that right there. So I'm going to hold that and let that ink transfer. Like so. And then lift it up. Good. I was so afraid that I had smeared this because I did wiggle it just a little bit when I let it down to the paper, but it did fine. It did not wiggle. It didn't move, so that's a good thing. And I think that's kind of a whimsical little, not whimsical, but kind of a good sentiment for a card like this, because it does have that shabby chic feel. You know, may all your dreams come true, because I think for a lot of us, with the shabby chic theme, And look how beautiful that's going to look on that card. And this is just our mat. You know, we still have, where's that other little piece? That's this one right here. I want that to kind of go over. And so you can move these wire pieces around. You can fluff your flowers and things like that. I also want to put some little pearls on there. So let's see. Let me see what jewels I have. I think these would be so cute. Look at these little flowers. Do I want those or do I want soft white pearls? I'm thinking pearls because that just looks too elegant not to use the pearls. So let's put these back in my stash. And we are definitely going to go with the pearls. These are so pretty. And I'm actually going to use some of the bigger ones and the smaller ones kind of all together. And let's do a larger one. Oops. And I am going to use a little dot of glue. And I'm going to put one right here. And it's amazing how much just a little pearl will dress up your card. So, you know, don't be afraid to use some embellishments. This is what makes your cards so pretty. So, I don't think any adhesive picked up on that one, so that's okay. With Art Glitter Glue to the rescue. And we're going to do another one right here. No adhesive on that one either. Let me get my little jewel picker because this works really good. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some glue right there. And then we're just going to use this little tool and pick that up and sit it right into that glue. And then I want a smaller one, maybe like this, to go right there. And maybe one more big one over here. I'm not having too much luck with these pearls picking up the adhesive, but that's okay. A lot of times this adhesive does not hold very well anyway, so now what do y'all think of that? Is that not adorable? I really love the look of that. Now, I will tell you this. If you're going to mail this card, you would probably want to make a box envelope for it. But if you're going to hand give this to someone, and I think maybe in my next tutorial, I will show you how to do a box envelope using that 1-2-3 punch board, because I always use that for all of my envelopes. I love it. And I'm still wondering if I'm going to need to put some... Let's see. It's definitely holding, so I like that. I think it's going to be fine just like that. So now let's go ahead and put some art glitter glue on the back of this. And I think by using that sentiment that we could use this card for almost any occasion. If we just wanted to lift someone's spirits, this card would be great. If you wanted to make it a birthday card, that would be great. However you wanted to use this card, it would work for almost any occasion. Anniversary, a congratulations card, any type of card. Now I do need to cut a base for this, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up the purple and I'm going to put this down on a piece of purple cardstock. So I'm going to cut a 6 by 12 and score it at 6, and I think I want this card to open like this. So let me grab a piece of cardstock. Hang on for me 1 minute and I'll be right back. Okay folks, we're back, and I pulled out a darker piece of purple that almost matches the butterfly, and a lighter piece that matches this flower. But I was, after laying the card down on here, and this is definitely my process, I really think the darker makes everything pop. So I am going to use the darker piece, and let's see what it's going to look like once we make our card base. So I am going to cut this at 6. This is a 12 by 12 piece of cardstock. So we're going to cut it in half at 6. And this is going to score at 6 and give us a card base that will accommodate a 6 by 6 card. So, and this is not a super sturdy cardstock, but this will definitely do the job, especially with the mat and everything that we have, because this mat right here is a very heavy-duty cardstock. It is, I think, like 110 pound or 130. It's the Brutus Monroe cardstock. So, and again, you know, when you're making this card, you might not have the same lace, you may not have the same flowers, but this can give you inspiration on ideas on what you might be able to come up with in making your cards. So never feel like you have to imitate me or do exactly the way I do it. Do you. That is always the rule of thumb in card making or any type of crafting. Do you, because you are one of a kind, your ideas are one of a kind, and you can make some beautiful items with your own creativity. So I'm going to turn this back out, and the reason for that is I could see my cut line right there, and I'd rather for that to be showing on the inside rather than the outside. So now all we have to do is, oh yes, I love that. It's just enough of that dark peeking through to really make this card pop. So I'm going to turn this over ever so gently, and I am going to put my, now again, like I said, this card would be so great for a card that you're going to take to someone, but if you do mail it, I may try to get a video up later this evening that will be part 2 to this, and that will show you how to make a box card or a box envelope that this card would fit into if you wanted to mail it. Now do remember, with the dimensions, it will cost a little bit more to mail a card like this, but I think anybody that would get a card like this would be so thrilled. Is that not gorgeous? Just look at that. I am so pleased with the way this turned out, and I was just sitting in here in my craft room earlier today, and I was thinking, what can I come up with that I haven't done that would be beautiful and inspire all of you to create? Now I am going to come back in here, and I'm going to put another piece of cardstock inside to write a note on, or maybe even if I'm going to make this a happy birthday card, I'll do a happy birthday stamp decorated inside. But and maybe I'll show you what I do when I come back with part 2 of this video and show you the envelope, and I'll show you then the finished product. But anyway, I want to thank you so much for tuning in. I want to thank you for your kindness, your support, everything that you mean to me, and y'all mean so much. I love each and every one of my subscribers, and I pray for each of you every day. And I just want to tell you that you mean so much to me, and I'm so appreciative of all the comments, all the love, and share that love that you show for me to someone else today. Tell them how much you care about them, and just be a blessing to someone. You never know how your encouraging words can change someone's life. Oh, you know what? I didn't even use this. I was going to put this at the bottom, but you know what? I think that would be such an overkill. I think we're going to save this for another card. So anyway, again, I just want to tell you, I love you, Jesus loves you, God bless, and I will see you in part 2 of this video that will be coming up after this one post. Thanks so much. God bless. Bye-bye.